Okay, let's leave INEC for now. Let's look at the security agencies. How would you rate their performance, concerning this election? Because there's a lot of questions around why, for instance, the military should have been a part of, the electioneering process.
Well, I would say we should go back to previous years. In Borno, for instance, Borno, the military has been in Borno for a long time, given the peculiar nature of Borno. But you would be shocked to know that the security wasn't directly involved in the politics of Borno. And the reason is because usually wherever there is, let me say, there is a balance of strength between political parties, there is a tendency for violence. And then, based on the assessment of the security architecture in the country, I don't speak for the security, but based on what I know, having been in government within the last 7 years, I know that where there's a balance of strength between two major political parties, particularly the APC and the PDP, there is a tendency of violence. And then we have seen, with very due respect to the police, we all know that sometimes the political talk appear to overpower the police in issues like this. I have worked in the Niger Delta as a bureau chief for the Daily Trust, and I know that what you have seen in 2019 was unfortunately similar to what happened in 2015 in terms of militarization of Rivers State, for instance. And the reason is because we know that Rivers State within the Niger Delta happens to be a place where there is proliferation of arms. We have had militancy, we have had people who have access to all kinds of rifles. So it's a situation that the Nigerian police, I don't think they would be able to manage sufficiently. But I think the government needs to come up with a strategy where, if it means having a special police force that will be giving a particular kind of training, hostile environment training for the purpose of elections in places where there is a possibility of violence, I think the country needs to look at that, in future. The issue of having military, involved in politics isn't quite a good thing. But I would say it's also necessary in some instances.
Okay, Norwa, a lot of observers, among the minuses that they saw was the incidence of vote buying. That's it. It's becoming more and more relevant, in quotes, with every new election that we have. What do you think can be done about this? Is it that the people are so poor that they need 500 naira or 1,000 naira before they can vote for A or B?
Thank you very much. Just before I answer that, just a word on an aspect that we must not miss. Leadership comes with responsibilities. And so if the head of INEC took on the job of conducting a free and fair elections, he ought to have delivered on it, or at some point say, sorry, I can't continue. To not deliver on it and then to come back and say to us, they will do better next time and there's no consequence. It's part of the reasons why we're where we are. So leadership comes with responsibilities and consequences. In other climes, he would have resigned by now. So let's just leave that there. I thought I should make that fact very clear. Now, coming to the issue of it's poverty. It's poverty, number one. It's the absence of a sense of nationhood. So for the guy who is taking that 500 naira, 5,000 naira, I hear that it's more expensive down south. You know what I mean? Okay. It's because, as far as that person is concerned, he doesn't trust the system. He doesn't trust the politician. This is for him. This is my own piece or my own share of the national cake. All right. And so we come back again to the fact that Nigeria cannot be different in the sense that we must have a common goal that we're pursuing as a people. In the absence of that, everybody will pursue whatever they feel is convenient for them. If you go to countries, I just saw a picture of a friend in Rwanda, and he was wearing somebody asked him on Facebook, he said, which tribe are you dressed as? And my friend replied and said, in Rwanda, there are no tribes. So you don't have Hausa, this is Hausa dress, this is Yoruba attire, this is Igbo attire. No, in Rwanda, all you have is, this is a Rwandan attire. That is a country that has, turned the corner.
Yeah.
All right? So, and you can see what they are doing. They are doing what other countries have done who have also turned the corner. But I don't know how Nigeria thinks that it can turn the corner on its own terms. It's impossible.
Okay, in terms of voter education,
Yes.
before the elections, just maybe a week to the elections, we started hearing, okay, it shouldn't be the thumb, or you can use any of the fingers, and then at the end of the day, I monitored some areas during the presidential elections, and by the time they finished counting the votes, okay, party A gets this and that, at the end of the day, you have votes that are voided like so much. And I'm wondering, what happened? Is it that the person or the voter doesn't know the party, or, okay, we have several parties on that ballot paper, so how do we avoid, such a situation, a recurrence of that, so that the votes really, you can now be sure that this party actually got this, or, this candidate got that?
Interesting. It comes back again to the tardiness of INEC, really. I mean, it's their responsibility to educate the people. Did you notice all the
political parties?
On the one side, did you notice all the, high-profile people voting? They did all manner of things with their, some of them folded this way, some folded that way, some didn't bother to fold. And I was like, even if we can say that the rest of us don't know, shouldn't they have known? All right? So, so there's a role for the political parties. Of course, they're only interested in power for itself. There's a role for the National Orientation Agency. There's a role for INEC. So if it had been done well, somebody would have come to your church, your mosque, your village meeting. Somebody would have gone to the market square to describe it to them. Somebody would have gone to the farmers' union to this. So there will be a peculation. You need to peculate all the way down. But because for many people, it's like each person came to the table with an agenda. All right? Each person came to the table with an agenda. So the politician wasn't interested in the common good, neither was this. So everybody is there not for what they can give. And that's what you see happen. All right? So again, until we come to an agreement on where we are going, why we are going there, how we intend to get there, we're going to keep having this circus show.
Now, Mr. Naji, let me take you back to something that Mr. Gusau said. INEC and funds. Okay, it took some time before their budget was approved. But INEC knew right from the day the 2015 elections were concluded that there were going to be elections in 2019. So, shouldn't they have been preparing since 2015 to a point where everything will be in place and all they will just do is cross their legs and wait for the money to come?
Well, I have a very strong background from a management perspective that does not brook excuses, especially excuses why you should fail. There are 99 reasons why you should fail. And I'm told, go after that one reason why you must succeed. Complacency is a word that is even very placid in the mouth. You can see it's not posing any problem in pronunciation. That shows how the tendency to fail is so easy. Then you blame it on something.
Mm-hmm.
The National Assembly obliged INEC all the money they wanted. It was also during, also the same under the 2015 election. They have always had all that they needed. Mm-hmm. Even sometimes the thing will come like a blackmail. If this one doesn't happen, then they will just fail this and that. There's a difference between effectiveness and efficiency. You may be on your way to Enugu. I see you at Shagamu, but you get to Enugu 2 weeks after. Then I see you at Mowe. You are going to Enugu. In the next 2 hours, you are in Enugu. All of you are on the same road, headed to the same location. But when and how fast? The point is that INEC also had its own problem. Mm-hmm. Soon after the threat was made by the president that somebody has to do some explaining, I heard it very clearly, and I hope many of us did, when the postponement was announced. It was a threat, a direct threat, which was not lost on INEC, and since that time it started being very giddy. What the point is about is that INEC has fund, Electoral Commission Fund. It's a statutory creation under the Act. And into that fund include aids from donor agencies. And we had a plenitude of them, some of which sent people as observers. So it is not as if INEC had an empty purse. It had the capacity to generate money within the circumstance of its own operation and perhaps pay when the money they were expecting from the budgetary process comes in. It's all about management. But the issue is not so much about money, and I refuse to accept that explanation completely. Because INEC itself never complained that. In fact, from the voice of the chairman, he said that they had all the money they needed. Yeah. Not all the money they wanted, all the money they needed. Yeah. The issue was that there was no logistical planning. And I have always harped on the fact
4 years.
We have to have more of thinkers in governance. We don't have thinkers. We also have people who may carry certain qualifications that make them look as if they are thinkers, but there is no reasoning process. Because reasoning is a higher form of thinking that produces a result. The point we are making here is that, yes, the elections may have come and gone in the sense of which it has come and gone. Yes, they may say that Caesar's wife is beyond reproach, if you get my drift. Yes. But we are living with this experience that democracy is under attack, the whole world over. You talked about poverty. I wouldn't go for the physical poverty of material poverty. It is the poverty of the mind, which is fed by ignorance. And there is a deliberate attempt to keep people down.